This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and the subject I'm going to talk about is a very dicey one, so apologies if I offend anyone. But it came up because I was recently told of someone that wasn't a personal friend, but it was an association of sorts. I found out that this particular person committed suicide. He was found in his house by his wife. Now, when I heard that, I was like, what the hell? Why? And so found out that apparently they had terminal cancer, throat cancer. And I guess the assumption should be, instead of facing that and going through the trauma of dying in front of the people that he loved and suffering and all that, he chose to end his life, which is very, very sad. And, you know, for those who might have seen some of my other videos, you know I'm going through a lot of bullshit right now. And one, it made me take stock and think about, like, as bad as things are for me, like, I know I always say you can never equate anyone's pain, but at the same time, I do recognize that there are things that you probably would see as much worse in life. And, you know, dealing with terminal disease, that's probably one of the worst things that you could probably ever deal with in life to me. So, you know, it made me kind of take a moment and just think about my situation. I mean, it's not that I'm happy about my situation or that I'm like, oh, you're just tripping, you don't have any problems, Michael. But at the same time, it helps with some perspective on that, so to speak. And it got me to thinking about the idea of suicide, just in general. And, you know, it's something that I find hard to really explain as far as my feelings towards it. So I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts and get some of you guys' thoughts on how you feel about suicide, because you got a lot of people who completely think suicide is just wrong. You know, religious types will tell you that it's a sin, and people will say that you're a coward for taking that way out, and so on and so forth. I don't think so. I don't think that these people are cowardly. Like, seriously, to take one's life, that's not a... I don't think that's a simple decision. I don't think that's something that you come to a conclusion on pretty easy. Like, fuck it, things ain't going my way, I'm just gonna end it all. Nah, it's not that. It's not that simple. There's a lot that probably leads up and is going on before you even get to that point. Like, think about all the struggles that you've had in your life, and just like times where you got to a point, not necessarily suicide, but to a point where you had to make a decision on whether or not you were going to do something that you are generally opposed to, or that just doesn't fit with who you are in your mind. Sometimes the stress of a moment makes you do things that you will end up regretting later, or that you wouldn't think you would ever do, but you felt like you needed to do at the time. And I think suicide is definitely one of those things, because especially when you have things like terminal disease, or you have like serious mental health issues, like, the world can be a very cruel and painful place to some of us. Like, and sometimes the pressure is just really, really hard to deal with. And I think most of us have found a point in our lives where we were like at a very, very vulnerable state. And all types of weird thoughts have gone through our head. Some of us have been able to push through it and continue on. Some haven't. I don't think that makes them a coward. I don't think that makes them a sinner. You know, I don't think that makes them a weak person per se. I'm sure you can find certain situations where you could possibly say that, yeah, in that moment they were probably taking the easy way out, such as Hitler. You know, he didn't want to face the punishment for all the lives that he took and all the like stress and drama and tragedy and heartbreak that he did. Like, you know, almost mass genocide of a almost mass genocide and eradicating a religious group because of his distaste for them. Conquering all these countries, killing people's families, friends, loved ones, just for power. Yeah, I could see you aptly saying that he was a fucking coward for taking his own life instead of facing retribution for that. I can see in cases like that, but that's generally not the reason why people commit suicide. Generally speaking, it's due to depression, anguish, pain, suffering. And they just reach a point where they feel like they can't go on anymore. And it's very, very sad. It's very, very disheartening. And I don't know, I think I've admitted this before, but I got almost to that point once in my life before where I had started to take pills. Like, this is Jesus. Over 2 decades ago when I was very, very young. But I stopped myself and I threw up because I got scared. I started to think, and I think this is why, like, for me, while I don't begrudge other people who do it, because one, I don't always know the reason why people are doing it. Two, there are reasons like what I've discussed before that I can understand how people can get that way and feel that way. But even though it's something that I feel like it will never be for me again, is because in that moment I got really, really scared, really, really worried about my mom. I got worried about myself and like what I may miss in life. I think for me, I couldn't do that because one, I've always had a bigger fear of not knowing what it is to be happy. Like, for all the stuff that I'm going through, all the misery, all the like anguish that I feel for certain things, what have you. Part of what keeps me going is like, I gotta one day actually fucking win. Like, there has to be a moment where I am at peace, and I don't want to lose the opportunity of ever getting there, no matter how long it takes. Like, I want to know what it feels like to, like, be with someone that I truly love and want to spend the rest of my life with. I want to know what it feels like to be financially secure, not necessarily rich, balling, anything like that. I just want to be secure and be able to help the people that I love to be able to be successful with the charity stuff and things that I do, just to be a successful person in my mind, in my estimation. I don't need to be super popular, super rich, super fancy. I just want to, like, you know, find that place where I feel happy. Like, and I can sit back and I can not have the worries that I have right now. Like, and taking my own life will rob me of that. And then, more importantly, it'll hurt the people that I care about, like, the most. Like, I don't want to put my sisters, my closest friends, and all that through the anguish of knowing that I had so much pain that I took my own life, and now they're hurting because I'm not there. I don't want to, like, this is weird probably, but I don't want to be leaving them with my burdens. Like, dying comes, sadly, like everything else in this country, comes with a huge financial burden. Funerals cost, burying people cost, and in a weird way, I just don't want to leave people with that to deal with. Like, especially since I'm not in the situation now where I could barely take care of myself. You know, I mean, that I am in a situation that I could barely take care of myself. Sorry, poor alliteration. But you got what I mean. Like, I don't have money for a funeral saved away. So somebody got to bury me. Somebody got to pay for all that. And for all the, like, burden I feel like I am being alive, I feel like I'd be even worse if I just abruptly took my life. And I just caused more problems for other people. And I don't want to cause problems because I've always been really, really sensitive about bringing pain and hurt to other people. So that would, again, I'd be dead. So, but I feel like that would still burden my soul, if that makes sense. Like, I would be in it. You wouldn't have to send me to hell because I would be able to. I'm good at punishing myself as it is, alive. I'm pretty sure dead, I would punish the hell out of my soul for committing suicide. And I don't want to, like, know that I left this world leaving others in pain. Like, people are going to be in pain anyway when you die. We all feel grief when we lose loved ones. But losing a loved one like that, I got to imagine that the grief is even worse, especially somebody who truly, like, deeply cares about you. You got them sitting there with doubts now, thinking, like, what could have I done better to help Michael get through this? What could I have done to, make things better, even though it's not their place to do so in most cases. You leave a lot of people angry. And, I don't want to anger people, having them feel that way about me. Like, I just, like, did a super selfish thing. Like, a lot of my reasons for not wanting to go down that path is because I just don't want to see other people upset and hurt. Like, that's straight up my biggest fear. Like, it's always so yeah. It's a very, 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 very interesting topic. Like, God bless that man's family for what they're going through. Sorry to see it happen. And he was a pretty cool dude. Again, it wasn't a friend, wasn't like close personal friend, but he was a nice guy. And I'm sorry to hear that he was dealing with that, and that, his life had to go that way. And I hope his family would be okay. I hope and pray that he left them in a position where they don't feel really burdened, and they're not, they don't have to deal with a lot. Like, there are some people who put their affairs in order before they do that. And he generally struck me as the type of dude who probably would do that when I think about it. So, I don't know. Yeah, suicide is a very, very, I think it's, at the end of the day, it's kind of a personal choice. And something that only in few cases you could or should judge. But that's just me. Like, I know, like, for me, it's just, I don't want to do it. I regret ever thinking about doing it. And when I do say stupid stuff when I'm upset and angry, like, I wish I wasn't here and all that, I really, really regret it because, there's probably somebody who do wish I'm here and don't want me to do that. Then again, hey, maybe there isn't anybody who really out there, but I like to think that there are people out there who would hate to see me go that way. Anyway, enough of that. So, as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll hot you later. This your boy Blak, and I'm out. Deuces.